Well, the story in The Athletic is titled, Why the Patriots' Bill Belichick-Robert Kraft Partnership is on the Verge of a Breakup. So the headline is, Why Belichick and Kraft are on the verge of breaking up. Mm-hmm. So you would think this would be what Bill did wrong, what Kraft did wrong, what went wrong between them. This is not what the story is. The story is nearly 100% what Bill did wrong is really what it is. What the real headline of the story should be, why the Patriots are about to fire Bill Belichick. This is really more what this story is. And since I teased it, I wasn't going to lead with this detail, but since I teased it, I'll give it to you. And I think, and again, this was, God, why am I didn't, what's his name with The Athletic?
Chad Kraft.
Chad Kraft. Sorry, I'm sorry, Chad. Chad Kraft. Chad Kraft, I think Chad Kraft is right to do this. The genesis, the germination of Belichick's impending firing was the Brady decision, which Kraft, The Athletic, put squarely on Bill Belichick. So I'll just read you this excerpt. Now we're going back to Brady. Okay, Brady complained to Robert Kraft throughout 2019, and Belichick did the same. That wasn't necessarily new. Kraft heard independently from the two sides for over a year, often aptly walking the tightrope of letting each side vent without making rash decisions, keeping together the most successful relationship in NFL history, even when it felt like they were near a boiling point. Many within the organization credit Kraft for his work as a middleman, keeping Brady and Belichick together long enough to win that 6th Super Bowl. So now
He's the bridge builder.
Yeah, no, we've got to give Kraft credit.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Kraft writes that Kraft's final ploy to keep together the best coach-quarterback duo in the league was to ensure Brady would have the chance to be a free agent at the end of 2019. He hoped that would incentivize Belichick to make changes, treat Brady more differently, make him a bigger part of the operation, focus on the offense more. But Belichick refused to change. Have you heard that one yet?
It's unbelievable.
That's the first I heard of that. Oh, wait a minute. Kraft's... No, you don't get it, people. Kraft didn't remove the franchise tag from Brady because he wanted him to go. He removed the franchise tag from Brady because he wanted him to stay. Call me crazy. That feels a little counterintuitive. If you want someone to stay, you take off the contract the parameters on him. What a load of garbage that is. Are you kidding me? You want me to believe that now? Talk about revisionist history.
I was just going to use that term. It is such bull crap.
Oh, my God.
It is such bull crap. After Jonathan Kraft sat with, it was Andrew Kramer, right, that he did the interview and said Tom Brady has the right to decide when he leaves.
I think they had Brady's rights for 2 more years, either with the contract or with franchise tags. Whatever the case may be, they had team control over Brady for multiple years. But Kraft let him out of it. Why? Because he thought that's what he would that's what would get him to stay. That's what would get Belichick to change.
Yeah, right.
And get Brady to stay. Can you think of a bigger pile of bullcrap than that?
No, because again, play it out further. Like, think it out. Let's say they kept the right to franchise him. What would that have meant? Cha-ching! Brady gets paid. So that's why they gave it up, because they weren't going to pay him on the franchise tag to keep him here.
Exactly. But call me crazy. If you really want someone to stay, you don't let them out of the contract.
Correct.
It's that simple. Robert let him out of the contract.
It's preposterous. That is a preposterous claim.
But now in this story, I'm being asked to believe that the reason Robert let him out of the contract because he thought that would be the best way to get him to stay. That's the top 3 dumbest things I've ever heard.
Because he was leveraging Bill to sign him.
That is freaking ridiculous. And that just reeks of, I'm sorry, the Krafts. They don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to be, I don't think Robert likes the way he's being portrayed as letting Brady go. Because it was Kraft that let him out of those clauses. It was Kraft that let him out of the contract. But now he got let out of the contract because that's what he thought that's what was going to get Bill to change? Like he thought Bill was going to change? Oh, my God. That is so, oh, my God, that's so weaselly. But, writes The Athletic, Belichick refused to change. He told Kraft that Brady's play was declining. And as painful as it was to say goodbye to Brady, which he did during an in-person chat at Kraft's home, the owner understood why Brady wanted to leave, and Kraft trusted his longtime coach that the separation would eventually help the Patriots.
I love that line, too.
They're putting this squarely 100% on Bill.
He trusted his longtime coach.
The headline is why the Patriots' Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft partnership is on the verge of a breakup. That would imply that we're going to find out what each guy did wrong and why each guy feels aggrieved. That is not what the story is. The story is 100% how Belichick screwed up going back to the Brady decision and Kraft washing his hands of it to the point where he wants you to believe that it was a ploy. Kraft letting Brady out of that contract was a ploy to ensure this is what was written.
It's unbelievable.
That Brady would have a chance.
Is unbelievable.
Okay. That he hoped that would incentivize Belichick to make changes. That's why he let Brady out of the contract.
Makes it easier for him to leave, and now that's going to change Bill's mind to say, oh, no, now we got to bring him back. No, now he can wipe his hands clean of the whole thing and move on like he wanted to years before. It makes no sense.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Here's another one where I'm sorry. I was just regurgitating in my mouth. The 82-year-old Kraft has taken it well that he's been passed up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame the last 2 years, even if his absence surprises many around the league. His resume warrants a spot in Canton. Again, this story is about the Belichick-Kraft divorce.
Yeah.
Here's a whole section on why Kraft deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
It's more like a column. It really is.
His resume warrants a spot in Canton. He has helped turn the Patriots into a model organization. He built Gillette Stadium, paid for the recent renovations, and oversaw the creation of Patriot Place around the stadium, a multi-use commercial complex that started a trend around the NFL. He chairs the league's core media committee, which was responsible in 2021 for securing new media rights, reportedly worth more than $100 billion. He has become a trusted confidant of Commissioner Roger Goodell. He was credited with helping broker the deal in 2011 that helped end the league's first lockout in 24 years. And then there are those 6 Lombardi trophies that reside in Foxborough. So Graf says
that reads like a PR run sheet.
Why is this in the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything about how you can go up in the Schmenzer and see downtown Foxborough?
So he does wonder if firing Belichick is in Kraft's mind because he's really wants into the Hall of Fame and deserves to be there, by the way, in case you missed it. But is that going to be a factor in letting Belichick go or not? So he wonders about that. Then he goes back to after Kraft has started to challenge Belichick at the owners' meetings the last couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. In 2021, he talked about the drafting and what he expects with the playoffs and whatnot. And Graf writes that Belichick, for his part, then seemed to begin playing his own games through the media from that point on. Belichick praised several other ownership groups and the facilities of several other teams while conspicuously refraining from praising the Krafts and the renovations they've privately funded at Gillette Stadium. He said little publicly about Robert or Jonathan Kraft at all. His only comments about the $250 million renovations the Krafts completed this year were about how the bigger video board might affect wind patterns for the kickers. Why is Bill supposed to care about the lighthouse? How is that his department? But now the Krafts are butthurt because Bill hasn't done enough public praising of the freaking Schmenzer and the scoreboard? And that's partly why they're breaking up with him, because he didn't give him enough credit publicly about the scoreboard. That's what's going on? In August, just before Kraft found out he hadn't been selected for the Hall of Fame.
So can I just interrupt for 1 second? Because when you talk about the stadiums, shouldn't that be true of the visiting stadiums too? In other words, why is Bill mentioning anything about the visiting stadiums?
Well, this is what Kraft is pointing out, that he is praising all the other facilities and not mentioning anything about the scoreboard at Gillette.
No, right. But when you say why should he care about the scoreboard at Gillette? He shouldn't, but he shouldn't care about the other ones either.
It's different. He's praising the football facilities in the other places. He was praising the football facilities in Vegas, the football facilities. I can't remember where else. It feels like wherever they go, oh my God, facilities and facilities.
So he's talking about the football all the time.
But the Krafts want him to heap praise on the lighthouse.
Gotcha.
What does the lighthouse have to do with football? But I think Kraft is right. That Bill was obviously taking shots at the Krafts. Somebody says a Taj Mahal of, look at these facilities in the Taj Mahal. In August, just before Kraft found out he hadn't been selected for the Hall of Fame, Belichick was given a chance to publicly back the candidacy of the guy who signs his paychecks. It was a softball question, but Belichick was brief in his answer. Quote, keeping our fingers crossed that we get the vote this year, he said. To Belichick backers, it was a simple sign of support for the owner. But others saw it as a less than full-throated endorsement. Belichick is often brief when discussing his current team, but it's not uncommon of him to talk for several minutes about long snappers, left-footed punters, or Curly Lambeau's playbook. Yet when it came to his boss's place in NFL history, his answer lasted 11 words. So we had a whole section of this story about how Kraft deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, his privately funded stadium, about what he's done for Bill Belichick, and Belichick repaid that the largesse of Robert Kraft by not mentioning the lighthouse, not mentioning the scoreboard, mentioning other football facilities, and then when asked about Kraft's Hall of Fame candidacy, spat out an 11-word answer, we hope we get the votes. I mean, give me a break on this stuff. So look, I just gave you those two. I'll go back into the story about what they blame Belichick for. And I think it's all largely accurate. The athletic story is the athletic story is the Terry Francona Bob Holder thing. I think Callahan's is largely football related. I think he's, if I'm guessing, he's talking to players and coaches and football staffers. This thing reads differently. But just in case try and wrap your head around this logic, folks.
Is there a thing at the bottom that says Robert and Jonathan Kraft contributed to this story?
So, but now they're trying to rewrite history on the Brady thing because Kraft gets blamed for letting Brady go. So here's what you had. Kraft had him under team control for at least 2 more years. Whether that was 2 more years on the contract or he could go back-to-back on the franchise tag, I can't remember. But they had him under team control for 2 more years, and Kraft let him out of it. Why? Because giving Brady his freedom was the best path to keep him. Not keeping him under contract. Because that sounds too simple to me. You want to go somewhere, you can't, you're under contract. But I really want to keep you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you leave. Like, what?
It's crazy.
Oh, my God. But maybe Kraft feels that's what's holding him out of the Hall of Fame? I don't know. But talk about pretzel logic there. That one had me like, oh, my Lord, you've got to be kidding me.